welcome. On a sad note, we've moved from communal clash to terrorism and banditry, and right now, kidnapping is making the headlines on a steady on our communities. We're seeing communities in mass being kidnapped, being abducted. And it's on this base we're taking our turn today to look at kidnapping economy. Why is this abduction? Why is abduction becoming a business? We're seeing kidnapping here, and the ransoms are being paid in some cases. I will be joined by Dr. Stephen Okwori after the short break to discuss on this topic. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. So good to have you join us here. If you're just joining us, you're still on time. We're talking about the kidnapping economy. Why is abduction becoming a business in this current time, in this season, in this period? And we have here Dr. Stephen Okwori. You're welcome to 360 Youth Dialogue. So good to have you here again, sitting on this seat.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. You've been on the media from one media house to another talking on security matters, and you're never tired on that topic.
Yeah.
On that note, let's start with kidnapping operation in Nigeria. What would you describe, looking holistically at kidnapping operation, how it started and how it's evolving right now?
Yeah, thank you for having me to share my perspective and some experience that I gathered from the field. What I mean from the field, I make bold to say that I did my PhD thesis on kidnapping for ransom. Yes.
Interesting.
And,
this is really a field.
and it afforded me the opportunity to interact with kidnappers as well as victims, right? And there were a lot of information that I extracted from them during my research work, right? Unfortunately, and very unfortunately, I've said this like almost 3 years ago, that kidnapping, particularly for ransom, has come to stay. Like looking at the lucrative nature of the venture, right? Kidnapping, it's when you unlawfully take somebody, either by force or intimidation or deceit and all that, then take the person or group of people to a particular location, and keep them for a period of time without their wish. And that is what we are seeing in this country. People that go about their lawful businesses, either on the road or in their houses or in schools and all that. These criminal elements just go in there unhindered, and either kidnap or adopt Nigerians, take them to a particular location and begin a conversation between either government or families of the victims and all that, until the terms and conditions are met, either by paying ransom or certain demands that they put forward, until such conditions are met before they begin to release the victims. But here, my worry here is that even we have seen situations where even when ransom is paid, huge amount of money paid, they still kill the victims, right? And it worries me, and I begin to ask, are these truly kidnappers? Because when you are talking about kidnappers, professional kidnappers, once terms and conditions are met and you meet up, the families or the loved ones meet up the terms, they set you free, And when kidnappers keep their victims in a particular location, they see you as a meal ticket. So whatever you ask for in terms of what you want to eat and all that, they make sure that they provide, because they know that they are investing in you and they are going to get their money back when the ransom is paid. But here we see a situation where victims are starved,
Exactly.
and all that, tortured.
Exactly.
So ones begin to ask, are they truly kidnappers, or these are terrorists that have ventured into kidnapping business and all that, So as we get along, we'll talk more.
We'll uncover more on that. Going back to your statement 3 years ago, where you said this kidnapping venture is here to stay.
Yeah.
Is there no turning back? Is there no return to, going back to when there was nothing like kidnapping?
Yes, there was a period that there was nothing like kidnapping. Before this Fourth Republic that started in 1999, we weren't hearing of kidnappings, especially for ransom. Kidnapping for ransom started in 2006 from the Niger Delta oil region when what do you call them now? Militants out there, they were kidnapping for political reasons and all that, and also kidnapping to draw government's attention, to the oil exploration that those international companies were exploring, and causing some environmental degradation to their health, their water, and all that. So they were just kidnapping for that purpose, just to see how to draw government's attention. But it got to a point where these same militants kidnapped an oil worker, foreigner, and the company were not patient enough. When demand for ransom was put before them, they hurriedly paid the sum of 300,000 naira then. And that was the beginning of kidnapping for ransom. When they saw that money was paid, and the hostage got released, their eyes now opened towards that direction. Oh, so we can get hold of these people, keep them for a while, then monies will come out of whatever we are doing. That was the beginning of kidnapping for ransom. Then it snowballed into from the south-south region to the southeast, from southeast to the southwest, from the southwest it now came to the northern part of Nigeria. Boom! It became a booming venture, and unfortunately kidnapping has become entrenched in Nigeria.
Indeed. Let's look at where you said where we're going to uncover all this. Looking at then, we're seeing Niger Delta doing it for politics when kidnapping started in 2006, as you said.
Yes.
And right now we're seeing a different dynamics where you're saying before now a kidnapper would treat the victim with caution, with thinking I'm investing in this person, the money is coming back. And right now we're seeing a different turn where there's torture. Sometimes they even kill them afterwards. What's the difference? What's the dynamic? Is it the reason really for this kind of kidnapping we're seeing that has been entrenched, especially in the northern part of Nigeria?
You see, what we're currently experiencing in another part of Nigeria with regards to kidnapping, I don't think, looking at it as a professional, they are not kidnappers. The fact that they ask for ransom.
Okay.
Right, because just the way I said, kidnappers, professional kidnappers, treat their victims with caution, right? They see them as meal ticket, whatever they ask. If the victim said he wants to eat Chicken Republic fried rice or something, they will go look for Chicken Republic fried rice and give to such a victim. Yeah, because just the way I said, they know that they are investing in the victim and all that. But here we are, you see miscreants and all that. Some, if you look at them, you begin to imagine, who are this set of people, And unfortunately, we have different sets of kidnappers at the moment. Right now, you hear less of armed robbery.
Yes.
Yes, because they know that it is more risky to continue to remain in the armed robbery profession than going into kidnapping, because as you remain on the road trying to see how to rob victims and all that, they are also endangering their lives as long as you remain on the road. So our robbers now have shifted their trade, illicit trade, into kidnapping. They just hot vehicles, pick the numbers of victims that they want to pick, and just take them into the bush, Then you have people that are into purely kidnapping business, right? We've seen Evans, the famous kidnapper in Lagos and all that. These were kidnappers. We've seen there's this Hamisu Bala from Taraba. There's also a kidnap kingpin from that axis. These are kidnappers and all that. But what we'll see now, I think we'll see a mixture of terrorists that have decided to go into kidnapping for the purpose of ransom, because they know what this money does for them. Of course, you know that they use these resources to sustain themselves, to see how to also use it to expand their network by procuring more arms, and ammunition, and they also use this money to induce vulnerable Nigerians that are out there and to lure them into their fold, So all these, they use these resources to see how to expand their network and continue to perpetuate this mayhem of Nigerian citizens, right? So we have different sets of them, right? So now we cannot categorically place who these people are. Are they terrorists, or are they kidnappers, or are they bandits, or are they armed robbers and all that? They are all doing one thing. And I think that their modus operandi is the same. They are after the money. Nigeria has become so attractive, you know, with regards to kidnapping. If you look at the Sahel region, Nigeria is one of the countries, or if not the country, that Nigerians pay heavily for ransom. Between in the last 1 year or so, 2.56 billion naira was paid as ransom in this country. Other security analysis firm and all that have given different figures of how much has been paid as ransom. Even the federal government agency, the National Bureau of Statistics, some couple of years ago, I think about a year ago or so, from 2024 to 2025, told us that 2.23 trillion naira was also paid as ransom, you know, by Nigerians. So the fact is that Nigerians pay heavily for ransom, and there's this professor in the University of Leeds, Professor Rodanti. He said that kidnapping is a social enterprise, that kidnappers are businessmen. It's just that they are on the other side, on the illegal side of the business. You know, kidnapping has become a venture where there's supply and demand. In the event where your loved one is in the custody or in captivity, the kidnappers place certain requests, right? So you must have to fulfill the supply, what they are asking for, before you begin to demand for the release of your loved one. You know, so the whole thing has become so terrible at the moment, and I think that we need to do a lot in the government, our security agencies, and all that, because if you look at the 2019 reversed edition of the National Security Strategy, containing that strategy, the government admitted that kidnapping is a preeminent threat, and they have put early warnings and early response mechanisms in place. And if you look at what is contained in that document and the rate of kidnapping in Nigeria, I know that you agree with me that what is in that document is not working at all, because most times it is a reaction, you know, from our law enforcement with regards to kidnapping.
Indeed. Before we come to, you know, the reactive measures that are put in place to respond to kidnapping incidents, we look at November 2025, 4 major security incidents in 7 days.
Yes.
That's like heavy. A brigadier general captured and executed, 303 kidnapped from a single school. I mean, such number from a single school. We're seeing 38 worshippers taken from their church, and 25 school children from their dormitory. Looking at all this, you won't say that this was just a one-day thing. It was a build-up of activity. So I want you to talk on that. Since you're saying there are different sectors, these are not just plain kidnappers. We're seeing coordinated move here. How is this a build-up, and talking about their coordination?
Well, if you see what is happening at the moment in Nigeria, you agree with me that these criminal elements are more in an advantage position. Yes, because when they go to strike, no security agency is on ground, or security agents or personnel is on ground to confront them, to see how to stop them. Most times. I'm not saying that our security agents or agencies are not making effort, or they are not doing anything, or the government is not doing anything. But the question here that Nigerians are asking is that, are they really doing what they are doing, what they need to do? In as much as I want to agree that effort is commendable, is a way to go. But what Nigerians want to hear, what they want to see, is the result. As I'm talking to you, a whole lot of Nigerians that have been kidnapped in the last couple of months are still held in captivity. There's a church somewhere in Kaduna, about 75 members of that church. They are still held in captivity. I recently saw a video where the kidnappers or bandits were asking them questions, you know, to say in the video where they were kidnapped, at what point were they kidnapped, what day were they kidnapped, and all that. Now the point here is that these guys are unpredictable. Where they sit and plan, right? our law enforcement agents most times are not privy to such information, right? And here we are, we have a situation where we have a motivated offender. Motivated offenders now are these criminal elements, terrorists, bandits, kidnappers, armed robbers, whatever you want to call them. For me, all of them are criminal elements. They are motivated offenders looking out for suitable targets. The suitable targets, you, myself, other Nigerians, young children in schools, look at the Oyo case and all that. These are suitable targets, right? And these motivated offenders capitalize, they have noticed that there's a gap. And they have capitalized on that gap, you know, how to get to their suitable targets. Nobody stops them from getting to their suitable target. It might be early hours of the morning, middle of the night, even during the day. Provided that they have seen that they can go execute, carry out their heinous act on Nigerians. And we have a situation where there's a complete absence of capable guardians. These guardians are who now? The military, the police, the civil defense. When there's complete absence of capable guardian, when these three elements, motivated offender, suitable targets, and absence of capable guardians, when they converge in a place and time, crime is bound to happen. So when criminal elements already conceived, they already have the desire to go commit acts of kidnapping, and the opportunity is there, and the reward is also there.
Exactly.
What government and security agencies needs to do is to see that these criminals that have already conceived in them the desire to commit acts of kidnapping don't have the opportunity to commit the act. But in the event where they commit the act and they collect ransom, they've gotten to their reward. In the event where they intend to kill, right, and they succeed in killing their victims, they've gotten their reward. So in all of this, we must have a situation where they don't have the opportunity to commit these acts of kidnapping. In all of this, we must ensure that the suitable targets are protected, because we need security presence, whether we like it or not. And security presence is lacking, seriously, especially when it has to do with our rural and semi-rural communities.
Exactly.
The road corridor, our roads, how many presence of security do we have? So there's a lot that we need to do in addressing these issues, right? So by and large, what I see here is that these guys are criminals that are just ravaging communities, collecting monies, either in ransom and otherwise from Nigerians. And they use this money just to see how to sustain themselves and to see how to continue to expand their network and doing what they are doing, you know, giving the government bad name, bad image. Internationally, Nigeria is one of the most discussed countries as we speak.
That's right.
The UK, US, Canada, and all that. Nigeria is one of the most discussed countries. And they are not, the discussion is not in the positive. It is negative, you know. And the world, unfortunately, is the global village. Once you just have your tab, or not, if I just type insecurity situation in Nigeria, a whole lot will pop up, right? So we need to see how to do what we need to do with regards to how to help address these issues of kidnapping.
You know, before we go really in-depth into the kidnapping economy on its own, I would just want to ask this: why is there absence of, you know, you call them capable guidance, security agencies, what they call it? A lot, we need them on ground. Why are they absent? But when it comes to probably protest or something, we see them in mass. Why? I'm just stating, because probably there is one or two things. A politician is passing here. You're seeing military men and women at every junction. Why? And we're seeing in rural communities, fringes of communities, no security presence. Why are we seeing that?
I think for me that's it's a misplaced priority when it has to do with government ability or role in trying to see that there's governance everywhere. Yes, for me, it's if the government decides to set their priorities right, I think that security should be topmost, right?
That's right.
And in the event where security is topmost, because you know the role security plays. When there's no security in place, there won't be meaningful development.
Exactly.
When there's no security in place, people will not go about their lawful businesses. When there's security in place, people will not access farm. When there's no security in place, there will be the number of out-of-school children will definitely increase. So there's a whole lot that security does, right? And in solving these issues, we must set our priorities right. Just the way you said, when it has to do with protest, you see a whole lot of them outside trying to see how to provide protection for people that they feel that they need to be protected. Meanwhile, the ordinary Nigerians that are out there don't have the security protection. The primary purpose of government, that section of the Nigerian Constitution has become so popular and common as a result of these insecurity issues. Everybody comes to television or anywhere and they must make reference to that section of the Constitution, the primary purpose. The Constitution or the drafters of the Constitution did not tell us secondary purpose. They said the primary purpose of government. The existence of government is to see that they provide security and welfare for the citizens of our country. Here we're not talking about welfare, right? Because Nigerians have been left on their own to fend for themselves, right? We're talking about security. And the government is still not fulfilling that section of the Constitution. If you put the section of the Constitution pari passu, side by side with the current situation that is insecurity situation that is deviling Nigeria at the moment, you will discover that that section of the Constitution is not being fulfilled, right? So government needs to do what they need to do. It is the sole responsibility of government to provide security for the citizens of this country, right? In as much as I want to agree that addressing insecurity is a shared responsibility where government, security agencies and other departments and the civilian population all have roles to play, but there are some persons, some agencies of government that it is their constitutional task, it is their duty, sole responsibility, that they must fulfill that their roles or duties in providing security for Nigerians. People in government, people in security agencies, and people in other departments, agencies and departments that are saddled with the responsibility to see that Nigerians are protected. You understand? So it's not necessarily shifting the bulk of the responsibility to the civilian population. What the civilian needs to do is that when you see something, you say it. In the event when you see and say and they don't act,
you become the victim.
You become the victim. You understand? So there's a lot that we need to do, and I want to believe that there are some persons in these agencies of government, right, that are not living up to their responsibility, right? Because we have seen situations where we hear that communities are attacked, they come kidnap them. Before they come to kidnap, they were already notified. A letter was sent to the community, and such information got to our law enforcement agents or agencies, and they did not act. So do we have an emergency response plan? Do we have an effective communication channel in the event where victims or communities see something and they want to pass such information to members, to the law enforcement agents? Which plan, which channel do they use? In the event when they pass this message, how quick does our law enforcement agents or agencies respond? Because response time is so slow, and that is the reason why these bad guys are getting away with these acts.
Exactly.
They come, kidnap, commit all these atrocities, and they go scot-free. None of them is arrested. It is after the damage is done, or after the disaster is done, we begin to hear directives. I have deployed
For
tactical.
research.
I have deployed intelligence squad and all that. This is not what is expected of our law enforcement agents and government. That Boy Scout motto, I don't know if you know it, Boy Scout motto is called be prepared. How well are we prepared? We should be prepared 24-hour, 24/7, because we don't know when these guys will strike. The best thing to do is to see how to make this crime don't happen, and it's by preventing it. The Nigerian police force, their mandate is to prevent and to detect. And according to the books, they are the lead agency when it has to do with internal crime. The Nigerian police force, they have an anti-kidnapping unit or department, right? The DSS, they also have anti-kidnapping unit or department. These are the two security agencies that have department that has to do with kidnapping, anti-kidnapping. DSS, they are supposed to come up with the domestic intelligence in the event where these criminal elements are planning to go and attack and kidnap Nigerians. They are supposed to come up with intelligence, an information that has gone through a process and become intelligence. They are supposed to come up with such intelligence and collaborate with or synergize with the police to see that this crime don't happen. But how well are they doing the job?
Exactly. Still speaking on our security agency here, looking at the police, looking at the military, looking at NSCDC, looking at every sector, every of them, are they tilted more? Should they be tilted more? Because they have the responsibility to the state and to the citizens. So which should they be tilted more to the state or to the citizens?
The state hires them, right? As we speak, we have about 29 security agencies in this country. And they were all created or established for a purpose. They all have clear-cut mandates. Just the way I said, the DSS, their job is to come up with domestic intelligence, right? And of course, we know that we must have intelligence before we can carry out security operations.
That's right.
The NIA, international intelligence, that's what their mandate is, you know, international intelligence. The police, prevention and detection of crime, and also prosecution of criminal elements. The what do you call it now? The immigration. What's their mandate? To see that foreigners don't come into this country illegally. Well, here we are. We see foreigners collaborate with our domestic criminal elements here and inflict this pain on Nigerians. You have the customs. Is to see that smuggled arms don't come in, you know, and all that. You have the Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons. The office is domiciled in the Office of the National Security Advisor. How well are they controlling these arms? We have a lot of arms and ammunition in circulation in Nigeria, right? So we have a whole lot of them that are out there, security agencies. How well are they performing these mandates that have been assigned to them, right? So government hires them. If we don't have crime in place, we don't have crime in Nigeria, there won't be need to create these security agencies that we have in this country. So government hires them to provide security for Nigerians. Because Nigerians, just the way I said, the sole responsibility of government is to provide security for the citizens. And our political leaders have sworn an oath the day they were sworn into office that they shall provide security for the citizens of this country. Right. There are some countries in this world that they don't even have military. They don't have army. Right. So if we have army, how old are they? All these security agencies put together, none of them is more than 100 years old. The police is about 96 years old. It was created in 1930, right? In the next couple of years, the police will be 100 years old. I think that happens to be the oldest security agency that we have in this country. So the other ones are just there. Some of them were created recently. There were reasons why the government created them, right? So the people that are manning these offices, these security agencies that are up to 29 in this country, they are Nigerians. They are not foreigners, right? So it means that we have Nigerians that are manning these offices whose responsibility is to provide security for Nigerians that are failing. And they are being paid salaries, they are being paid escorts, they are being paid allowances. For doing what? For failing or for failure? So why are we recommending, why are we rewarding people that are failing in our offices? They are unable to provide security for Nigerians. So I think that the hierarchy of such agencies should live up to expectation, fish out the ones that are failing in their responsibility, and take them out, right? Because we cannot continue to use taxpayers' money to pay people that are failing in their responsibility. The military, the police, they are out there paying the supreme sacrifice. A lot of them are being killed, right? What is happening? Don't they have the required or necessary tools? Why are they being killed?
Exactly.
How well are they working with technology? How well are they investing in technology? Because there's a lot that technology does now. An American, 27 years old Philip Walton, somewhere around southern Niger, was kidnapped in 2020. He was brought into Borno State and kept there. He was kidnapped on a Monday. The CIA in America was able to establish his location through intelligence. The moment they discovered his location, they now informed the U.S. Marine operations in Africa, which they tracked to know his exact location. The moment his exact location was identified, the Navy SEAL, the U.S. Navy SEAL came on the 5th day, Monday, on the 5th day, Saturday, they came on a rescue mission. They succeeded in rescuing the American, and out of his 7 adopters, 6 were neutralized, right? What did they use? It wasn't magic. They were not magicians. It was technology. So what is stopping Nigeria as a country, blessed with abundant resources? We have the resources anywhere across the world. Addressing insecurity issues is not cheap. We have the resources. So how well are we investing in technology? We don't have the technology to monitor the movements of kidnappers or bandits. In your case, this is 40 days plus. And we're unable to identify the exact location of these children and a whole lot of other children that are out there in the forest.
And yet these bandits, they carry out videos and things. They have social media platforms.
Exactly.
So I feel it's more than just detecting them. It's the willpower.
That's the point. It's a willpower. And that's why I mentioned here that we have people in this government, even in the previous government, that are manning offices, occupying offices, and they are being paid for doing nothing. Right? If you say anything contrary to any government official now, through your phone, they can get at you. So why are we finding it difficult to get to these criminal elements? They will come, they will shoot videos of how they are maltreating Nigerians in the forest.
Teacher, how they killed
how they beheaded the teacher. You see ransom monies collected from Nigerians in huge number. They will video and send this video to the social media platform. At the end of the day, nothing is done. Are you saying we don't have the technology to be able to track, to know the phone number that sent that video, that first sent that video, the location where that video was done? And so what are we saying? It's not rocket science to do this. If we have the willpower and we are committed in doing this, I think we will get the desired result.
Exactly.
But we cannot continue to do the same thing and we expect a different result. We have new service chiefs, we have a new IG and all that. And I said it when they appointed them. I said, appointing them does not necessarily mean that insecurity will reduce. But what I expect of them is that they are going to come with new ideas, new strategy, tactics, and all that. They should be able to think outside the box. What did their predecessors do that they did not succeed? What do we need to do now to turn the tide? But what are we saying?
You know, there's so much to talk about when it comes to insecurity in Nigeria.
Yes.
There are a lot of loopholes. But before we go to factors that sponsors all this repeated kidnapping and insecurity in Nigeria, let's talk about the economy as its own, as a stand of its own. Is it now part of our economy, looking that, you know, money is being transferred, money is changing hands? Is it now an economy on its own, or it's operating as a dark economy of its own, substituting for our failed economy?
Well, I think, you know, in all of this, we have sponsors.
Okay.
Yes. We have sponsors of crime in this country. And these sponsors, some of them are people that you and I see and might want to envy them. Because there's a possibility that they are driving posh cars, living in highbrow areas and all that. The people that will see that carry out these acts of kidnapping are foot soldiers. From my findings, a victim told me that there was a time that somebody came to where they kept them. He tried to see the person's foot. The person came with a palm sandal. And the leg that he saw was so fresh. And the perfume that the person wore, right? You know that the person was the sponsor of this gang that kidnapped him. That's what he told me. And if you look at the way the ransom is collected, sometimes once a ransom bearer sets out to go and deliver ransom, the ransom bearer is in communication with the sponsor. Then there's somebody that is positioned somewhere to collect the ransom. So sometimes the kidnappers themselves, these foot soldiers, they are not even aware how much was collected. Sometimes. Like, I had an interview session with some of them, and they told me that one said he collected 300,000, another one said he collected 400,000. Meanwhile, it was millions of naira that was paid. So the sponsor collects this money, right, then gives these foot soldiers whatever he wants to give them, depending on their on their level. You know, they have a command structure.
Hierarchy.
Yes. Those that kidnap, those that takes care of the ones where they keep them in captivity and all that. Evans, the famous kidnapper, while he was into that illegal business before he was arrested, some of the foot soldiers didn't even know him, people that were working for him, because of the command structure. They only issued directives. This is where we are going today. This is where we are going tomorrow, and all that. So, the monies that they collect, sometimes they spend it here. Right. So, if you say, I will say that it's an economy that money is collected and these monies are still spent within, except in the event where they go to procure arms. How do they procure these arms? Do they procure these arms within, or they change these monies into foreign currency, dollars and all that, and go to an open market somewhere and begin to see how to procure arms? Right. So, for me, a whole lot is happening with regards to the economy. Looking at what MBS told us, how much was paid as ransom, trillions of naira. Was that money invested in this country? Did it contribute to the GDP of this country? These are questions we need to ask. Right. Monies can be tracked, money can be traced. Unfortunately for us in this country, ransom payment has been criminalized. So if you pass a law, by the last Senate, if you pass a law that in the event where it is clearly established that you paid ransom for your loved one to be released from captivity, minimum jail term is 15 years. So, for me, the National Assembly decided to put the cat before the horse. The issues around kidnapping that make kidnappings to happen, you didn't see how to put that to a stop. Rather, you jumped and criminalized ransom payment. So if your loved one is in captivity and you are hearing the way and manner the person is being tortured, beaten and all that, and demand comes from the kidnappers, you expect the families to sit and fold their hands. Government has said we should not pay ransom and all that. You think it can work? It can work. Right? So, for me, if somebody goes to pay ransom and you go to report the matter at the police station, you then not put in your statement that ransom was paid. Right? So, if you want to address the issue, try to get to the kidnappers. Once somebody is kidnapped and the families intend to pay ransom, I think that the families need to work with government, our security agencies. In the event where you want to go and deliver the ransom, there should be something that should be, you have trackers. There's a way you can do it. You can insert tracker in the money. There's nothing technology cannot do now. Right. We need to think outside the box. This is our challenges, and it's peculiar to us. Ransom is paid almost on daily basis in this country. How do we do to get to these kidnappers in the event where families go to pay ransom? We hear where kidnappers collect ransom and also demand for motorbikes.
Yes.
And you think that there's nothing you can do, technologically wise, to see how to track in the event when they go to deliver these bikes. So you have tried to create a gap between families of victim and government, because government has criminalized ransom payment. So in the event when they want to go and do such a thing, they won't let government know. So there's need for this synergy between victims, family, and government. Let us see what we can do. In the event when you go to deliver this ransom or deliver these motorbikes, let us see what we can do, how to get to this kidnapper. There's no punishment.
Exactly. So let's talk about criminalizing ransom payment. Is this enough effort, or is there strategy if the government, like you said, if the government is not, is criminalizing this ransom payments, how are they filling that gap to ensure the safe rescue of the victims?
Nothing. They are just left to their God that they serve. Sincerely, I watched or I heard the National Security Advisor telling families of victims not to pay ransom, that they're boldest kidnappers and all that. So that's correct.
Okay.
I like that, but what is it that government has put in place to see that people are not kidnapped? In the event where they are kidnapped, how quick do you rescue them? I don't even understand. How quick do you rescue them? Your case is still there, 40 days plus. So if the families of the Oyo children are trying to see how to put money together to go and pay ransom. Will you blame them for that? When the government has already failed them? The government has already failed them. Right? So we must see that these people that are kidnapping in this country, right, are arrested. There's a law with regards to punishment. And we should see stiffer punishment now. Because for me, the punishment is not as weighty as a crime they commit. Right? If it is capital punishment, let it be established that it is capital punishment. Right? We have seen countries that have succeeded in dealing with kidnapping activities with regards using capital punishment. Right? But here we are, people kill people and all that. At the end of the day, they say they have gone through a process. At the end of the day, you say they have
tried in court and then reintegrated.
Even the justice system is so slow with regards to trials of such criminal activity. Wadume, the Hamisu Bala from Taraba, I remember that he kidnapped somebody and collected the sum of 105 million naira. He was arrested. How many years did he send him to jail? 7 years. Haven't spent about a year or so or two. They say the punishment will run, the prison terms will run concurrently. He came out looking more robust, you know, and he was even taking pictures with correctional service officers. What kind of country is this, for goodness sake? Even when he was released from jail, when he went to his community in Ibi, in Taraba State, he was given a rousing welcome. Members of his community came to the boundary between his community and another community. They come and see the ovation, welcoming him back. From that point, he went to pay a visit to his traditional ruler. What are we encouraging? Young children in that community will see him as a mentor. And don't you think that it also increased the rate of crime, kidnapping especially? So there's a lot that we need to, I think we are missing it. And I don't think it is late. Let us go back to our history. The crime, all this crime started in this Fourth Republic, just the way I said, kidnapping in 2006. We have our history. We have experiences and realities that is confronting us today. So we need to do what we need to do by going back to the drawing board. The reversed 2019 National Security Strategy, there's something that they need to do in that regard. I criticize that document because it's not working. With regards to kidnapping, you have identified that it's a preeminent threat, and what are you doing as government in seeing that it doesn't happen?
You know, a lot can be said when it comes to the security issue in Nigeria, because it's disheartening, because there are a lot of loopholes that can be covered, but it's not being covered
at all
for some reason.
Yes.
But we'll take a short break now. We have a lot to say. Do stay tuned with us after the short break. And welcome back from that short break. If you're just joining us, we've been having a disheartening topic here on 360 Youth Dialogue, where we've been talking about the kidnapping economy. Why is abduction turning into a business? Why is it being lucrative? What is being done by the government and other things? We've spoken about a lot of things, and we spoke about criminalizing, ransom payment by victims' families and all that. And let's jump right into that, where in some cases, after a ransom is being paid, some victims are still killed.
Yes.
So are we fighting the symptoms of kidnapping or the business model, looking that even payment does not guarantee your safety or your release? So what are we fighting, the kidnapping or the business model?
I think that the business model now is now, you see, these guys are unpredictable. You can't read the minds of these criminal elements. When I went to have my first conversation with these kidnappers, I went to the forest. I met about 8 of them. After my interaction with them, I needed about 25 of them to talk with. So they told me that when next I come, that some of them are not around. And when next I come, it costs me money. Don't forget that with divine intervention, devil can see God, right? But when I left, I didn't have the guts to return.
Of course.
Yes. Because what I saw, my return, I might meet a different set of people with different intention. Right. So it was a risk that I took. So I didn't go back. So it brings us to this question you asked. I think I have said there are 3 or 4 different categories of this set of criminal elements, all doing the same thing, just to see how to collect money and use it for the purpose that they want to use it. So a terrorist that has become a kidnapper, that collects money, of course, you know what a terrorist does. His joy is to see that blood, he shares blood. I don't know if you understand. A bandit comes into a community, kill people indiscriminately, ferry the ones they want to ferry, and they go away. Armed robbers that are into kidnapping, they kidnap. So now I think there's more work that we need to do, more research to know why some of the victims are killed. Who are these sets of these kidnappers that are killed? Right. Because there's no reason for you to kill your victim.
If you really want the
money. If you really want the money. Now you have collected the money and you still went ahead to kill the victim. So of what benefit is that? You know? You have deprived the family of the victim of their loved one and also money that you collected from the family. I'm a professional negotiator. There was a case I was negotiating in Imo. I tried to negotiate the ransom to the tune of about 5 million naira, not knowing that the family had already agreed before they contacted me that they were going to pay 10 million. So when I was offering 5 million, they got angry. That why am I bringing it down? Who am I? Right? That the family, they've already agreed with the family that they're going to pay 10 million and all that. But I said, okay, I now had to agree with the 10 million. But I said I needed to talk to the victim because we must establish proof of life. Right. They now told me that, okay, they are not where the victim is now, that when they get to where the victim is, they are going to let me know and all that. After a while, I called, the number wasn't going anymore. After a while, I called, the number rang, they didn't pick, not knowing that they had left me and they went back to the family of the victim because they now discovered that they were talking to a professional. Right. That was insisting on certain things, certain information that I was putting to them and on certain questions that I was putting to them. So they now left me and went back to the victim. So I now spoke to the person that contacted me. I said, you guys must establish proof of life first before taking any money to anywhere. They didn't hear me. The mother of the boy was under pressure, and all that. They had to go and deliver the ransom. The moment they delivered the ransom, the phone number stopped going. 2 days after, some persons were passing one place and they were perceiving a terrible smell. Right. They now went like that. Police now finally got to the place. They saw the dead body of the young man, already swollen. Right.
So he was long dead.
They killed him like 2 days before they delivered that ransom. Right? So issues like this, you cannot say who the intention, what they are after, and all. So we must be very careful. We must treat very carefully when instances like this happen around us. There are a lot of things that we need to do, even as individuals. There's personal safety tips. People need to be aware, right, that there are certain things that you don't need to do, right, because we have people from the inside that even connive.
Yes, true. That's true.
To see that these acts of kidnapping, the prelate or the prelate of a Methodist church that was kidnapped some 2-3 years ago, Methodist church, 100 million naira was paid. One of his relatives came to the bank to withdraw his own share, and he was arrested, right? So we have in this country people also mastermind their own kidnapping.
Exactly.
You understand? Right? A lot of stories there because it has become a lucrative venture.
Exactly.
We have seen pastors of churches somewhere, one in Okwori, one in Jos. They masterminded their own kidnapping, self-kidnapping. The members of their church started contributing money to see that they get their pastor released from captivity. Meanwhile, they were somewhere. Very recently, a woman, her daughter in Canada, they were contributing money to see how to release her from kidnappers there. Meanwhile, she was in one hotel in Delta with a boyfriend, left her husband at home. So there are a lot of stories because people have become aware that kidnapping can turn a penniless person
into a billionaire.
Into a millionaire or a billionaire.
This is just my personal question, but looking at the economy, why is the amount for kidnapping, why is it so high? Why is the ransom payment so high? Before now, we would hear like 5 million, but now it's at 50 million, 100 million. The last one, I think, I'm not sure of the exact place, but it was like 10 million per person. Why is it so high?
Again, it depends on whoever that is involved. I told you that we have sponsors. Evans, the kidnapper, was not collecting naira at some point. It was dollars. $250,000, $300,000. That was what he was collecting. And Nigerians were paying, right? We have seen in this country where 200 million naira was paid as ransom by somebody that was kidnapped in Abuja. Because these kidnappers, or whatever they call them, know that Nigerians are ready to pay for that life. At some point, you see crowdfunding. People contribute money. The general, former NYSC DG, that was kidnapped in Katsina, didn't his classmates in the military, they opened a platform, WhatsApp platform, where they were donating money to pay for his release, which they did. So if a general is kidnapped and ransom is paid, then wherein lies the hope of a bloody civilian like you and I?
Not funny, but
yes,
okay.
but that was the truth.
Yeah.
So these people just call out any amount of money that comes to their mouth. 1 billion, they begin to negotiate. They negotiate. The train incident that happened during late former President Muhammadu Buhari's regime, the train that was attacked, allegedly almost 6 billion naira was paid as ransom. Families were paying 100 million naira. It has become, former governor of Katsina said that Nigeria is economically attractive to kidnappers. Some of them come from outside, just the way I said, to kidnap. Because I've seen victims tell me that they speak languages that we don't speak in Nigeria. So this money, just the way I told you, helps them in doing a whole lot, right? Sponsors are out there. I told you that if we see their sponsors, we envy them. Meanwhile, we don't know what they are doing, right? So this money just comes from this sponsor's mouth or from the perpetrators of this crime, and they just see that formerly kidnapping itself was for the wealthy people,
but now
it has affected every social strata. Every social strata is
and
affected.
I feel the poor people feel it more.
Of course, they sell their livelihood, whatever they have succeeded in.
Let's look at this point where you mentioned ransom here and there. They demand ransom sometimes from government, but the government deny paying this ransom. So should the government go more on non-kinetic approach or go harder on kinetic approach, looking at the guts these people have to demand ransom from the government?
These guys are criminals. They are criminals. Just the way you said, government use back channel. Whatever transpires during whatever conversation, we're not privy to such information or whatever happened. President Buhari, late President Muhammadu Buhari, it was on record that his government paid about 3 million euro as ransom in this country, right? So government denies. But we have seen where children are kidnapped or adopted. At the end of the day, you see them, they come out
in their whole number, like
in their whole number. Sometimes they decide to release them in batches. Why are the kidnappers or bandits releasing them in batches? What is causing it? Right, that is one question. Number two, we have seen situations where children that were kidnapped or adopted, released, when they get to government, you see them, they wear ashwebi.
That's right.
I don't know if you know what ashwebi.
Too much.
Why are they wearing ashwebi? They wear ashwebi like in the case of Kaduna. The last set of children that were kidnapped in Kaduna, the ashwebi that they won to see the governor, the ashwebi that they now want to meet their parents were different. So why are we doing that? And we'll say we are serious in fighting insecurity, particularly kidnapping and adoption. You are wearing them ashwebi.
Sorry, this is hilarious. But I feel like there's a lot of this is becoming a caricature to our government, to the citizens, and to our security agencies, because it gives these kidnappers upper hand.
That's it.
I mean, it looks more like they're more at advantage than
Exactly.
the government itself.
That's it.
But let's go forward because of time on the geography. We cannot ignore the geography of these activities. Why does it look like a coordinated event repeatedly on some areas, looking at Niger, Kwara, KB, Zamfara? Why is it
Everywhere in the north?
Okay.
Everywhere, apart from Benue and Plateau, but up north, northeast, northwest, there's a lot of kidnapping of children, and all that. North Central, we see them happen in Niger, Kogi, and all, because they have planted cells. They have left conflict areas, which is the northeast, northwest. I think because as a result of the firepower, the military and the police are after them there, so they are migrating, relocating down to where there is less pressure, right? And they have established cells in Kogi, Niger, in Plateau, and all that. The whole of the north is caught in this world of kidnappings, adoption, right? What are the governors doing? You see, this thing is not about this for the federal government alone.
Okay.
Governors need to do what they need to do, right? These crimes are local. So we must see how to address this crime locally.
Okay, on addressing that, on a final note, as a security expert with decades of experience and knowledge, what is, according to Nigerian slangs, you say 1 blow, 7 apples, or 7 die. What's that one blow with multiple effects that the security agency and the government can give to kidnapping in Nigeria?
In addressing it?
Yes.
That willpower, we must have it. Because whatever we do, if that willpower is not there, we will not get the desired result. Willpower comes with a whole lot. Technology in place, strengthening community policing initiative, the commitment from our security agencies and all that, a whole lot. It's a whole encompassing. It's a society, as in we need to approach it holistically, right? If we don't do it the way we need to do it, we must have people with integrity that are in government, that have the deliberate intention to see that this thing is brought to a halt. Because when you look at it critically, some persons are benefiting from this, and some of them are in government, some of them are in our security agencies. What is corruption doing? Corruption is a bane in addressing insecurity issues. Government is investing so much in this fight against insecurity. Look at the budget. Defense security is the highest. How well are they investing this money? Does the money go to the people that assesses this money, that you should use this money to address insecurity such as kidnapping? If yes, how well are they judiciously using the funds? Are they diverting it, or they are using it for the purpose? These are questions we need to ask, because people have become so wealthy in the fight against insecurity. So where are they getting the money from?
That's right. That's right. But due to time, I would love you to keep speaking on the security issues, but due to time constraints, I think we'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you, Dr. Stevie, for your perspective, for never stop talking about security issues in Nigeria. We like what you do out there, and thank you so much for joining us here on 360U Dialogue.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So welcome.
Yeah.
And to our audience, to our wonderful audience out there, thank you for joining us here on 360U Dialogue. And we don't pray for anyone to be kidnapped, but really it's a collective responsibility. And as a trend right now, it's the core responsibility of the state to protect the citizen. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Juliet Omura. Keep watching Third Eye Africa Television.